116 runs scored. The last few, well, it's not for the faint-hearted. I actually have this book of mine, a combination of the fact that I've had to write a lot of numbers down, but also I was ready to eat this piece of paper with the fact that I had written off Chennai at the 10-over mark on Crickbuzz Combox, and I promised that I would do so if they got there. And towards the end, I started getting there. My 11th Circle presents Crickbuzz Live to wrap everything up, and I have a counter quiz question for one of my guests before we start. 1949. 1949 is a number I'm going to throw at you. And Joy, you have two options. Option A, it's the average year of the books that you pull out from behind you. And option B, it's the total number of experience in terms of games that the Rajasthan team had when they started this game.
It's an absolutely bizarre thing. I have absolutely this, as I said, before I even come to your number, I'm beginning to, there are too many numbers in my head because I'm trying to make sense of a cricket match which I am making absolutely no sense of. If somebody can hit sixes the way Dhoni could in the last over, why didn't he start hitting them 3 overs earlier? What exactly happened? Why did they play the way they did? And if they can, why was it? I'm sorry, I do not understand this chase. I'm beyond me. I'll leave it to a wiser brain, Harsha, and leave it to you.
Harsha?
No, I heard you. I was just pausing. I heard you. I was just pausing and searching for words. What it reminded me of was when the master tells the students, okay, it's up to you. I'll show you from time to time how it's done. So, Dhoni hits 3 sixes in the last over. SC hits 55 of 19 after dawdling 17 of 18. Murli Vijay starts 11 runs an over of 21. Dhoni is 10 of 13 and they still get to 200. That tells you that hitting sixes was so easy. They weren't. For a major part of that run chase, it wasn't a chase. It was just a second innings. And from time to time, they'd switch it on to make all of us stupid. And then they'd go back in. So, well, I couldn't figure that run chase out, I'm afraid. So you look at that game and say, yeah, 216, 200. But were Chennai ever in the game? No.
Yeah, that's one of those things, one of these times when you look back at scorecards, you look at archives and pick them up. And honestly, if we didn't have this discussion, or if you weren't there, you look back and say, wow, this was a close game. They must have fought tooth and nail, but the scoreboard pressure got to them. 200 chasing 217. Well done. What a match. It must be worth pulling out.
No, absolutely. Gautam, what you're saying is absolutely right. Because from the very start, Murli Vijay, for example, I can understand. He's low on confidence. Okay, so he wants to set up. But if you're low on confidence, you know that this is one match actually where nobody will blame you. If you go there and place for it, nobody will blame you. I know that the young Ruturaj Gaikwad looked like a bit of a fool because first of all he had a rush of blood and he just rushed. But the point of it is I can still believe that, okay, I'm a kid, I'm inexperienced, I'm very excited, I want to get on with it, and the bowler fooled me. It's a rush of blood. Somebody in the dressing room will say, okay, you learned something from that. I did not understand what Murli Vijay did because this was a chance for him to play without pressure. Nobody would blame you. You're going at 11 and over, you have to go. And these are the kind of things that throughout this innings, if he was able to hit like that, why did he start hitting so late? Even Dhoni started hitting, it was all over. The game was all over by the time Dhoni started hitting. So, beyond explaining to our people, otherwise just showing to people that, okay, we can really do it if we need to. I'm not going to do it today. I'm struggling to understand.
The other question I'll have.
On the Crickbuzz app, sorry, Gautam, quick one. On the Crickbuzz, there is a column that says overs that tells you how many runs were made of that over as you go along. I'm just looking at the Chennai Super Kings innings and look at the fluctuation. In 11-run chase, 11-run over chase, there's an over of 5, 3, 6, 4, 7, 5, 7, 7. You can't win. You can't win like that. 7 to 15, they made 78 runs. You can't so slowly. And what will be perplexing to Chennai fans is the ridiculous ease with which Faf hit the And Dhoni was just saying, "Acha, dikhai dete hain, yaar." So, as if to say, that hardware shop that Gautam knows, all of us have been in charge of those hardware shops outside, as if to kiya tha, chalo le hi de hi deta hu.
And by the way, it did reach that hardware shop, and a guy did pick it up in a souvenir and he took it home.
I mean, people are going to say net run rate, right? People are going to say net run rate, yeah. Over a period of time, last year, for example, there were 3 teams stuck on 12 and 1. So net run rate is important, and there's nothing wrong with that. But how easily they came there? Can you imagine getting 218 in a run chase? What that to the opposition? So I don't know.
The other interesting one which I was going to come up with, yes, the other 19th over comparison. Let's remind you, folks, that 51 runs came off the 20th over, if you count the 2 innings. 20th over of the Rajasthan innings and the Chennai innings. Part of it hit by Jofra Archer, the other part hit by MS Dhoni when he finally decided to show the world what he's capable of doing. And 51 runs there, 19 overs, 186 was where Rajasthan were. 19 overs, 179. That tells you that it was within reach if you wanted it to be within reach. But it obviously wasn't. In fact, even if you go to the beginning of the innings, Harsha, when you talked about Murli Vijay, and the reason I bring this up is because we need to announce our My 11th Circle, the certain award that we did not get in the first innings, the Badge of Honor, which Joy had in his hands and was snatched away. In this innings, after 5 overs, 36,
It takes some time to get over this. I mean, look at when Dhoni's hit those sixes. Last over starts, right? You need 38 to get one. Then you start hitting 666. At that point, when the last over started, Dhoni was 9 of 12. Then he was 10 of 13. I can understand the game, but at least a stage where he needed sixes at both ends. So it looked good on net run rate.
Yeah, it'll look good in the archives, it'll look good on net run rate, and you'd love to be in a fly on the wall in that Chennai dressing room tonight, unless they've swatted even the flies away in the way that they did in that last over. But Joy, I know there's going to be discussions on this everywhere. We're not going to try and make sense of it anymore, but are there any positives that Stephen Fleming would look to take out of this?
I think, it's difficult to say. I mean, again, I think Sam Curran has been electric out there. He's given them something. I'll tell you the problem with what I think this current Chennai team is, and I'm being very honest about it. My problem is so many of them are not playing regular cricket, whether it's international or state, that they all are playing out there, going out there and playing tentative and safe to start with. There's nobody out there who's saying, I'm going to play from the start because, it doesn't matter to me. Who's the guy who's doing that? Sam Curran. Why? Because Sam Curran has been playing of late. He's okay, he's confident, he's out there to play. Everyone else is saying, let me just see the ball round a bit. And when the target is 217, you can't see the ball out a bit. You cannot do that. That Murli Vijay innings was a shame. It shouldn't have happened. Somebody had to go for it, place from one end, and it couldn't have been that all of it had to be done by Watts. And that's my problem, that there's too many people out there sitting on the fence and saying, I don't want to take the chance that somebody else takes the chance. And there's only 1 or 2 Sam Currans who are taking the chance. And that is what Chennai may have to grapple with. Look, they've surprised us before in the past. Dhoni is a magician, he can pull a rabbit out of the hat anytime. But that, as a supporter, and we all love watching the Chennai Super Kings play, as somebody who appreciated Dhoni's game, it's very difficult to, at this point in time, put your weight behind the table.
Because Dhoni thinks so differently, we've always got to search for a method with what Dhoni does. Because he thinks so differently. Today, I think he might have said at the toss, he said we will be a safe fielding side, not the best fielding side, because we are not the fittest. So I wonder whether this is the team that I have. This team is going to take time to warm up. By the time we get to the last few games, we should of contention and be ready to qualify. So we won one. Let's come close. Next 3-4 games, we'll all get our act together. Still stay in contention. Ready. We're all warmed up. We're all match fit. We'll go for it. I mean, because Dhoni thinks so differently, you've got to start searching on the approach.
question at you before we go to our next segment, and that is the last number I'm going to throw for the moment, the number 7, which we all know is a number that he wears on his back. It's a number that he likes, but was that the number he should have batted at today?
I frankly, there was a
only, yeah. Go, Joy.
Yeah, so my point was, look, the left-right worked for a while. He sent Sam Curran in early, but Kedar Jadhav before him, I mean, I think the decision, 7-5 maybe I could have understood. 7 on a run chase of 217 seemed way too late. If you are the kind of guy who can hit sixes the way he showed us in the last over, you should have been coming in earlier than that. And if you were repeatedly sending left-hand batsmen to balance it out, I can understand. But then you sent Kedar Yadav as well. So no, I simply do not understand.
All right, let's head to. Go ahead, Harsha.
If Dhoni needs 15 balls, I mean, those sixes that he hit today were just monsters. I mean, they were not normal sixes. They would have been sixes on any show. If he needs those 15 balls, then surely he's got to come up. And I don't know, there's this weird